Welcome to Ivanoff Retirement Insights with Paul and Travis Ivanoff. The father and son team at Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management helps clients grow and protect their wealth. Paul and Travis understand the importance of having tax-advantaged, reliable income in retirement, protecting your assets, and helping you achieve your retirement dreams. Now, Ivanoff Retirement Insights.
Welcome to another episode of the Ivanoff Retirement Insights podcast. My name is Casey, and I am here with my buddies, Paul Ivanoff, insurance agent with Ivanoff Advisors, and his son, Travis Ivanoff, investment advisor representative with Ivanoff Wealth Management. And they are here to break down some of the biggest retirement headlines from the week for us. Guys, how we doing?
Doing great, Casey.
Are we in the Christmas spirit yet?
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Christmas in Orange County?
Well, there's no snow. So
Weather is nice. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, weather's nice. Boy, I've been here for so long, I don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
But at any rate, being from Ontario and Canada...
A little bit different. Christmas looks a little different, I imagine.
Yeah, just living here all these years, I wake up in the morning and the weather's always the same. I have to wonder, is it fall, winter, summer, or what? I still do that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, ready or not, December is in full swing. The holidays are here, so how are we doing on our shopping? Do we have it all done yet? What's going on?
Well,
Paul's laughing.
I'm not the early shopper. I'm one that waits to the tail end.
You're Christmas Eve, Paul, I bet.
Well, I used to be. I'm better than that now, but
okay.
I keep saying I won't do that again next year, and I kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, you're not alone. The National Retail Federation says that actually, up to half of Americans put off their shopping until the week leading up to Christmas, and then another 30% wait until the final few days before December 25th to get it done. But in any case, time's running out, and I was thinking that's also kind of the case for certain financial moves that may carry a year-end deadline. So I was wondering if you guys could run down the list for us. What needs to be on our radar as 2025 comes to a close?
So many things, but I guess I can run through the list pretty quick here. You know, we want to maximize 401k contributions. Make sure we take in our required minimal distributions if you're of age. Roth conversions, if we're doing those, we really wanted to already be jumping on those. Tax loss harvesting, so you can sell some losers and sell some winners to offset your gains and losses for tax purposes. Big one that we do constantly is charitable contributions, known as qualified charitable distributions. That's something we're doing a lot of that a lot of people aren't aware of. Once you're 70 and a half, what you could do, like if you're used to giving to your church like a lot of our clients are, we custodian through Schwab. So we can go to Charles Schwab and go, hey, that $10,000 contribution you always do to the church, let's do it through Schwab, and let's do what is called a qualified charitable distribution. So then Schwab cuts a check to the charity, and then it counts as your R&B, or if you're not of R&B age, it still counts as your charitable contribution, but you're not paying taxes when you pull that income out. So oftentimes we're doing this once you are R&B age, where, hey, I'm already charitable. I might as well do it where it helps me and it helps the nonprofit I'm supporting. So, and I would say the Roth conversion element has been pretty big. In fact, I have a couple different CPAs I work with, and they really help us nail this. Like I had a client recently come on board just a few weeks ago, and she'll be 73 next year. And she has a great pension, she has a great Social Security, and she has a bunch of tax-deferred money. And her current advisor never even brought up Roth conversion. So and she wants to, yeah, exactly. And she wants to leave her kids some tax-free money. Have you thought about Roth conversions? Is there a reason you haven't done them? Do you not like them, or do you not see the benefit? And she's like, no, I just never, no one even told me about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So once we ripped through it, I plugged in my CPAs and I told her, look, Paul and I are not high pressure. Like we have plenty of clients. We love what we do. We do great. So I don't really like pushing people to come on board. I go at their pace, mm-hmm. and oftentimes the question is, okay, where do we go from here? But in this particular instance, it was in our second appointment. Usually we're like a 3-appointment process. And our second appointment, I'm like, look, I don't mean to sound pushy or anything, but if you are thinking about coming on board and you like the idea of Roth conversions, we need to do this like yesterday.
Yeah.
So she immediately said, yeah, I see the importance of it now that you've kind of taught me about it. So I had her drop her taxes off that day. I went and talked to our CPAs. They put together a plan. We went very aggressive. I don't want to scare people, but we did like over $100,000 Roth conversion right now, just because she's almost 73 and they're not as favorable once you are of RMD. So those are the deadlines. Now with our current clients, we're on top of it. We're starting that process pretty early. But the clients that are just coming in that aren't really aware of it, we have to jump on it quickly. And that's why it's nice to have a couple different CPAs we work with to make sure that, hey, what's going to happen to my Medicare pricing? Do I have to pay taxes now since I didn't pay them quarterly because I didn't expect this big distribution? So that's where it's nice to jump ahead of it earlier. But still, with clients coming on right now, we're showing them the importance. And thankfully, I have a great team that I can rely on to help us build these conversions very quickly.
Well, time really sneaks up on all of us, especially during the holidays when we've got the shopping that needs to be done. We've got family plans. We've got so much going on. And you were talking about this lady. You needed to get it done by the end of the year, but it's really easy to kind of put things off. So for those of us who tend to procrastinate, Paul, looking at you, what risks do we run by waiting until the final hour to make important decisions? What's at stake here?
Well, hey, before, let me just backtrack a bit about my procrastination about the Christmas shopping. I know that's what you're getting at here. One of the reasons, and I think I'm not alone on this thinking, the older you get, you're my age or retirement age, it's hard to find a gift for your loved one. They pretty much have everything. So that's one of the reasons I procrastinate. I'm banging my head against the wall wondering, what can I get that would be useful?
Yeah. Well, Travis, talk to us about what's at stake here if people miss these end-of-year deadlines.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would mention, in order to avoid this, we have what is called our wealth checkpoints. And this has to do with RMDs, legacy planning, tax planning, investment planning, retire. So we have a whole list of different things, qualified charitable distributions or donor advised funds. So we have a pretty thorough list that we go through and kind of check off with our clients to make sure no stone is unturned. But, you know, if you miss an RMD, you can have anywhere from a 10 to 25% penalty. If you don't do a Roth conversion, that's just 1 year less until maybe your RMD age where they're not as efficient. If you don't do a QCD and you already are charitable, you probably miss an opportunity to possibly lower the amount of taxes you're going to pay. So, and then as well as maxing out your 401ks or oftentimes, you know, your IRAs or Roth IRAs. There's a lot at stake, you know. Every dollar counts, right? We want to have a purpose for every dollar, and that means where it's being invested or how it's being withdrawn. So it's important to have this very streamlined. And again, that's what our Ivanoff Retirement Roadmap does. We have all of this built into the roadmap. We'll show QCDs coming out. We'll show Roth conversions. We'll show contributions. So if we do a good job out of the gate of building that retirement roadmap, and we meet up with our clients yearly, we're less likely to have anything surprise us where we didn't expect it.
So as the guys are pointing out, there are things to be done on your financial checklist. The time frame on certain things is critical at this point. 714-452-1955 is what you need to dial if you have questions about end-of-year to-dos. There is just a limited amount of time left now. So I encourage you not to put it off any longer. 714-452-1955 or find us at ivanoffinsights.com, IVANOFF. Click that Get Your Roadmap button. Fill out your information, and we'll have one of our Ivanoff teammates reach out directly to you and get you set up that way. So speaking of Christmas shopping, I've been using AI to help me narrow all of mine down. ChatGPT has been my best friend when it comes to figuring out what to buy people this year, what to bring for my white elephant exchanges. It's been great, and AI has obviously been on fire, and it's really no surprise that it remains the hottest trade on Wall Street right now. But, of course, with that comes fear. Will it end painfully for some investors? We've got economist Mohammed El-Arian on Yahoo Finance recently talking about his thoughts.
So there are elements of a bubble, which means that people will end up with losses. But the aggregate value of what's being created is significant. And therefore, it makes sense. The payoff is so large that it is rational to have multiple investments and to overinvest. So the good news is that will make us more innovative, more competitive. The bad news is there will be tears, there will be losses, because elements of it are elements of a bubble.
So when new clients come in, guys, are they surprised by how much risk they might actually be taking right now? And have you warned them that today's bubble could be tomorrow's correction. How are these conversations going with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I sit with my chief investment officers every Monday, and we kind of talk about all these things. And there's about 41 companies in the S&P 500 that are basically powered by AI. And if you remove those stocks from the S&P, the growth is not even close to where it's at right now. So we had a conversation about it on Monday. What are the smoking guns in people's portfolios right now? And one of the conversations we had was the AI bubble and the importance of making sure you're diversified. So if you own the S&P, you own a lot of AI already. But when we're building out our strategies, we're making sure that there's things that are non-correlated to the S&P 500, whether that's international, emerging markets, fixed income, or again, getting back to the point of retirement, which is cash flow. Do we have enough income coming out regardless of what happens to the market? So the market, again, up, down, or sideways every single day. If you're only relying on portfolios like that for income, it can get stressful. I'm not saying it can't work. It definitely could. But at the end of the day, what's important to you? Do you want to watch the AI bubble or see what the Fed does on the rate changes and how that impacts the market? Or, right now we're noticing the 10-year yield is popping up due to some of the Japanese bonds. Like, do you really want to run through all that during retirement? Or do you want to make sure your income is consistent and that you're able to just live the retirement you sought out instead of worrying about what the market or the AI bubble or whatever the next thing is going to be? There's always the next thing. So whether it's an AI bubble or not, you need to make sure that you have a well-diversified portfolio and you have a strong income plan. Because again, at the end of the day, income is the outcome that matters in retirement planning. Cash flow is king. It's not so much your net worth is, do you have enough coming in every month, whatever that is, 10 grand a month, 12 grand a month, to make sure you're living the retirement you always thought about, right? Tomorrow's not promised. You better make sure you're making the memories and you're not kicking the can down the road every day on, I was going to do this on your bucket list items. And sometimes what I find is that if the market, like in April and May when the market had a pretty good hiccup, all of a sudden that trip to Italy doesn't seem so important, or taking the kids to Maui is not as important. So that's the risk of any portfolio you're in. It always carries a risk. And on my board in my room, when we talk to clients, I just simply write down market growth. Why are we in the market? Well, for growth and liquidity. What's the downside risk? Everyone knows it, but most people aren't doing anything differently to make sure that not all their money's tied to that.
I'm wondering, if we do see a correction soon, what kind of ripple effects could that have beyond just the tech sector? Are there certain areas of the market that might really feel the impact more than others?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's always the guessing game, right? Like, was it the housing bubble and the crisis in 2008, or was it the financial crisis back in 2020? Is it inflation? So I think a lot of areas would feel the hit, and mostly with retirees, you don't have the time to wait for it to recover. Mm-hmm. So whatever area it is, I guess that becomes irrelevant. It's making sure that you're diversified and you are not only counting on the S&P or whatever you're invested in to realize your retirement dreams. So I wouldn't focus so much on the next bubble. If anyone knew that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'd already be retired, right? But just making sure you have a well-diversified portfolio and you have enough income to live the life you want.
Well, this is why you want to incorporate the help of a professional. There are a lot of factors to consider, and you want that partner to guide you through, and that's where Paul, Travis, and the team come in. 714-452-1955 is how you reach us. We've opened up these spots on the calendar exclusively for our radio listeners. You can chat on the phone, you can chat via Zoom or in person, whatever you prefer, but you can talk directly with Travis about your situation, and together you guys can work on that best path forward. 714-452-1955. We've got Amber and Ashley standing by at the office right now, ready to take your call. 714-452-1955, or online works too. If that's easier for you, we are at ivanoffinsights.com. That's Ivanoff, Ivanoff. You'll click Get Your Roadmap, fill out your information, and we'll have one of our teammates reach out directly to you to get connected. That's going to do it for us on this episode of the Ivanoff Retirement Insights podcast. We'll be back next week with more great insight from Paul and Travis Ivanoff of Ivanoff Advisors and Ivanoff Wealth Management. We'll see you soon.
Investment advisory services offered through Ivanoff Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement by security regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Travis Ivanoff, California CRD number 325275. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Ivanoff Wealth Management is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Ivanoff Wealth Management is licensed in your state, please call 714-553-1490. Ivanoff Advisors is not affiliated with Ivanoff Wealth Management Incorporated. Advisory services are offered by Travis Ivanoff through Ivanoff Wealth Management. Insurance services are offered by Paul Ivanoff through Ivanoff Advisors. The aforementioned are unaffiliated companies.
All content is for information purposes only. It is not intended to provide any tax or legal advice or provide the basis for any financial decisions, nor is it intended to be a projection of current or future performance or indication or future results.